Hi there, Tyler here. Just going to give you a walk around the exterior of my Thor Sanctuary. Walk you through all the features so you know where everything is. Just going to start at the front, walk around. I'm going to start at the driver's door. This is where your fuel fill is. Diesel, do not use gas. This is a diesel vehicle, so that is in there. Moving back, we've got a lot of accessories. I store the keys for all of these up in this compartment in front of the steering wheel, and they are all labeled, so I will use those during my walk around and then put them back in here. The first one is the water fill. It's labeled water fill. This is if you want to fill the tank of the vehicle with a garden hose. There is a garden hose in the back. I will show you where that is as we get there. I will also do another video specifically on filling the water. So there will be more information on that. This is your power cord, and actually let's just go ahead and do that right away. The power cord to plug into a campsite is located in this storage box, which is also locked. And there is a key. This is one of the keys that was in there. You open this up. I've got a few chairs, little camp chairs. We'll get to the rest of the contents of this in a few minutes, but this power cord comes out. This is the end that normally goes into the campground. And then this is a little different end. One of the prongs has a 90-degree angle in it. You can see where that corresponds here. I take that bent tab, match it up to that bent tab, put it in, and then it turns just a little bit, locks it in, and then you can tighten it with that screw. You then run this to whatever power box you have at the campground. Moving on, this is for additional solar, which is not an option I don't have set up for. This is city water. If you're at a campground with a garden hose spigot, you can hook up the garden hose here and leave it hooked up for your entire stay. What that is going to do is just give you an endless supply of water, as opposed to a limited supply. If you run off the water pump in the water tank, you'll run out eventually. This is the cassette toilet tank to empty the toilet contents. There is a key again for that. That gets turned, unlocked, and then you push both these. Oh, that is locked. It was unlocked. Unlock it, push both these buttons. This pops out. I will do another separate video on that as well. But that's what's in there. Cassette. This is the furnace and water heater exhaust. So you don't do anything with this, but be aware that this can get hot if either the furnace is running or the water heater is running. There is a light here. If you're hooking up at night, I will show you in the main display inside how to turn that on. There's not a switch. You have to go into the tablet to turn that on. Down here is your propane fill. If you have to have it filled, if you use all the propane, go to any place that does propane fills. You have to turn it on to use any of the propane accessories. What the propane is going to be used for is hot water, furnace, and the stove. So if you're using any of those, this needs to be turned on. I typically, if I'm camping, will just leave that on all the time. This is storage for the sewer hose connection for your gray water tank. That is different than the black water that would be in the toilet. The gray water is your sink and shower water, so it's typically just soapy water. You actually pop that cover off. Like campgrounds will have a dump site. You actually dump that, pop that off, and there is a hose to get that. Let's say the dump site is a few feet away, you can run the hose. A lot of people will just open this a crack and let it dribble out if they're somewhere camping. That's up to you if you want to do that, since it usually is just soapy water. It's not anything too nasty. I do not keep the sewer hose in here. The sewer hose, even though it's soapy water, can be dirty dishwater and things. It could get smelly. This compartment just goes under the bed, and I don't want a smelly hose under the bed. So I actually store the hose in here. This is a trasheroo. What it is, it's just in a large oversized sack you can throw garbage in. So if you're camping, I've got a small garbage can in the camper. And then as those fill up, if there's not a campground garbage nearby, I normally just throw the bags in here at the end of the weekend, at the end of your stay when you're driving past the dumpsters, and you go and unload those. I also utilize it for this sewer hose because I don't, again, want it under my bed. I will just pull this out. What this is doing is just clipping onto that spout. And now you can direct that water. Let's say if you at the campground they have a dump thing over here, you put it there and then you pull it and you can dump it all at once. So again, that is not sewer water, that is simply any water that goes down the sink or the shower. Some other room here, but yeah, that's basically just a larger trash can. There's a spare tire here. This just clips on. This stays on here all the time. You can use it for anything. In this storage box, again keyed, I've got a garden hose to refill the water tank or use city water connection. These are levelers. They're like giant Lego blocks that you just set on the ground. If you're parked somewhere that's not level, you can put them under the tires to level one side or another to whatever height you need, front to back. That's basically all those are. Those are in here and available. I also keep a hammer in here to pound stakes in the ground if you need to. There's a couple carts of oil. This Mercedes uses very special oil, so absolutely do not put anything other than this in. So there is 2 quarts that should never need to be used. It doesn't really burn oil or anything in between oil changes, so you shouldn't have to do that, but if for some reason you need oil, there is some in here. This is an adapter. If you're parked at a home and not a campground, you can go take the big power cord and go down into a normal house outlet. This will limit what you can do. You can't just have everything on because this is 30 amps, and if you limit it down to this 15 amp outlet in a house, you'll have problems if you just start throwing the air conditioner and things like that. So if you do decide to use this adapter, let's talk about that and let you know exactly what you can and cannot do when it's on that power. There's also a first aid kit in here. I just leave in here. Very simple. Latch is closed. As we come around, right now I've got a Starlink system on the camper that is not permanently mounted, it's just temporary. I'm testing it right now to see how I like it. That may or may not be available in the future. That's just plugged into, there is 2 outside outlets here. You can plug anything into outdoors as long as the inverter is on, the Combi Master. These outlets are powered, or if you're plugged into the shore power. Below that, there is an auxiliary port. That is if you have a portable barbecue grill or something not part of the van that you brought along that happens to have the right connection, which you probably won't. So that'll probably never be used, but that's something you don't have to worry about. That's for like an extra grill or something that maybe be able to bring into play in the future. I'm just going to continue on the outside. We'll do more videos of the interior stuff. I think that's about, actually I'll show you one other thing. Since we talked about the fuel on the side, under the hood is diesel exhaust port. So there is not only diesel fuel, but every 1,800 miles or so, you have to add what's called diesel exhaust fluid. That's available at most gas stations, especially truck stops. That goes here, def only. And again, that's every 5 fill-ups or something, you have to fill that up. There's a display on the gauge that shows the level of that, which we will show on the video once we get to the interior and driving. There is no dipstick under the hood here. The only way to check the oil is through the dash. There's a button. So I think that's it for now for the exterior walkthrough. Thanks.